Okay, hello, day 4. That's right, not day 3. I've been really very stressed out lately. I think the whole process of changing your life is about getting used to doing things that you don't like doing. And I have been learning how to do things that I do not like doing. I think that most people do things they don't like doing for about 8 hours a day. That's called going to work. For me, it's a very uncomfortable experience. I've also found some other uncomfortable problems. My mind and my memory are compromised, probably from disuse, although trauma could be having an impact. I'm having so many... I notice something about my life that I want to fix. I begin considering ways in which I could address the problem, and then the next thing you know, I have a list of these things that is so long that I literally get up and then forget why I stood up. My mind is resisting me, honestly. I'm having extreme difficulty pushing through this. There's a feeling when you're learning a new language, if you've ever done that, you'll find yourself in a long phase where you have a resistance to using the new language. Like, you don't want to figure out what "can I have a banana" is in Spanish. You want to just say, "can I have a banana?" And you have to make that extra effort to do that thing. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. I believe the abuse has enhanced it in me. Plus, the world's kind of fucked. Yesterday, I went to run a single errand, and it ended up taking me 7 hours from beginning to end. Legitimately, I did stop for lunch in there, but the state of the public transit system in my area it's in crisis. It's a house on fire. That, and the fact that I just didn't want to do it, means that I didn't record yesterday. Now, I want to make a commitment here. Obviously, the audio on this is shit. I'm still figuring that out. Camera. Also, the idea that the person in the podcast will be a performance. I can still make that authentic. I can still make that a work of art. But to really grapple with the reality that it's not going to be me. It's not going to be the me that you would meet if you talk to me. I can accept that as an artist. And if at some point I have to make decisions about advertising and stuff, I will consider those then. For now, I want to do these and I want to get them online. I'm not going to do a lot of very basic steps, which I'm now realizing I really should, like audio editing and various other tweaks, because I don't have the time to learn what those tweaks are and then still get these posted in a reasonable time frame. I think for me it is very important. So this is my commitment. I will record a blog every day for the next 2 months. I can handle 2 months. Beyond that, we'll see. Maybe I will continue, but I have learned not to make indefinite commitments. I did want to talk about the process of recovering from abuse. It's an interesting topic. There are 3 basic steps, right? Step 1, find a safe space. Find a place where you feel comfortable expressing very embarrassing emotions, right? Like, is this a place where you would feel comfortable crawling on the floor crying? And if it isn't, you need to find one of those. Because believe me, recovering from abuse, most of the time, will involve being on the floor sobbing. at least once. It's interesting because a lot of times we think we have safe spaces and we don't. I had a friend who his mother would read his diary. So he couldn't write down anything without knowing that his abuser was going to read it later. And they can trap you. I think that abusers try to trap you. They try to trap you in a place where you have no safe space to think, to be who you are. If when you're at home you don't feel safe, then again, that's not a safe space. So even something as simple as fear can destroy a safe space. A lot of times, safe spaces aren't physical spaces, they're actually periods of time or conceptual spaces. If there's a ritual that you do every day, it can put you in a safe space. The only requirement really is that you get to be whoever the hell you want to be until you leave, right? Like there's no limit on who you can be while you're there. Many people miss this. It's the very first step, and in a sense it's the most important one. It's the prep work. A lot of people try and do this shit without doing the prep work. It's not easy to create safe spaces, particularly if you live in an unsafe life. But it is possible. It is worth doing for anyone who's considering it. Step 2 is revisiting the abuse. That is unbelievably awful. What that usually ends up meaning is pick an incident of the abuse, right? Like, okay, there was that Thursday when Uncle Jack did that thing to me, and then go over it in your mind. Recall every single detail that you can recall. Remember as much as possible about how you felt, about what was going on. Talk about it. Maybe write stories or a vignette about it. And this is absolutely as horrible as you think it will be, right? It is brutally ugly to revisit these terrible things. It's also necessary. These things exist like a blockage in the mind. And if you can do this, if you can go and you can really wallow in the pain and the filth, that pain and filth will stop being a blockage. It will start being just part of you. And I bet you've been through a lot of pain and filth in your life that doesn't really bug you that much these days. Eventually, your abuse can be like that too. Something that happened to you that you don't really care that much about. It was awful. It was life-changing. But it's not who you are today. It's a tough point to reach. And it's not even the end, because there's also point 3. Point 3 is after you have done 1 and 2, you have to begin rebuilding your life. And that's what I'm trying to figure out what to do right now. So this has been Dispatches from the Void. I hope somebody's listening.